Welcome to this new Flight Simulator update movie. We're gonna look at San Diego. Yes, you heard correctly, San Diego. This is the second part due to the fact that in the first part we looked at, I would say, the edges of San Diego, but the majority of the updates were added to the city center of San Diego, so thanks for the person who made me aware of that. So I will go outside of the aircraft and we're passing the airport, and then we will go into the city center, which is, I would say, right in front of us. And then also on the right side there have been some modifications. So let's see how it looks like, right? So increase the engine power a bit. So here we go. So in the meantime, right, Asobo has released a hotfix, or at least a beta hotfix for the Xbox Series X and S due to the crashing issues. So if you want to help Asobo fix those issues, then consider joining that beta. Be aware that it might impact the performance of Flight Simulator. So I also joined that beta, so if you see performance issues, then they're likely due to the fact that I am running the beta version of the say solution. So we're coming closer and closer to the city. So then we're gonna move the angle a bit like this, because this is the part which received the updates. You can see a lot of buildings based on, of course, Bing data, Bing Maps data. So let's see if we can see some nice details. So there are no point of interest added to San Diego, right? It's purely, I would say, the photogrammetry content which has been updated. If you live there, then let me know if this is realistic, right? It looks like nowadays, or are there some things which I would say might require some additional updates? If you look at the detail, right, you can see on the rooftops, you can see those details, but also if you look at the buildings themselves, they're more detailed compared to the default content, which is of course always good to see. And over there's a nice bridge and some ships. So let's fly into that and then make another tour. While looking back at us, we can see, I would say, it looks like an industry part of the city, which is located on the other side of the water, and a nice bridge. And in front of us there are a lot of ships. So let's have a look what it is. From, I would say, this angle, it almost looks like it are, I would say, naval vessels. But maybe I'm wrong. If there are naval vessels, then I would say we probably should start worrying, because we're flying over them, right? And in most cases they don't like that. It's like a common mix of both, because the ones which we're flying over now are definitely not naval vessels, right? They are larger ships, although no, they're also naval vessels. So it's like one is for, I would say, emergency services, and then we have, I would say, several other ones here. And as you can see, they're really detailed, right? You can really see, I would say, helicopter spots, also the other details on the ships. This one looks a little bit weird. It looks like there are trees above it. Probably that's a bug, or maybe there's a really big tree. Also an aircraft carrier. And then there's also a cruise ship over there. So enough to see also in the harbor of San Diego, right? So let's do another tour, because we already bypassed it. So if you look from here, right, you can see all the naval vessels still being there, which is cool. So go back to the other end of the airplane. Now let's see if we can find something else, right? Also here's the cruise ship, right, which is also pretty detailed. It's not moving, at least not yet. Maybe it will move, but in this case there's no moving parts as far as I can see. And if we go a little bit closer by, we can check if the detail of those Navy vessels is, let's say, highly accurate, or if they're, let's say, when you come closer they're less detailed. But it looks like they're pretty detailed, as you can already see. Probably if you would do this in a normal world, you will get some jets behind you. And here you can see it's a photogrammetry content, right? So it's not handcrafted, but photogrammetry content. But I would say enough detail, including a tree on the ship, which is also very cool to see. And trees in the water. So there are some errors in the scenery. So you can report that to Asobo so they can, let's say, adjust it.
500.
While we're flying, we will cross the bridge. You can see that the weather is not too nice. It's, I would say, a little bit cloudy. I'm gonna visit this part of the city because it also received some updates, as it looks like. Here we can see some default buildings, not that special. Looks like that these are some hotels or something, maybe some office buildings. It's hard to see, also because it's dark, but if you would look in this view, right, then it becomes lighter, and it looks like these are probably the, you can see swimming pools in front of it, tennis courts, so very likely to be hotels. So then the cool thing is that also on this part of the city there's an airport which you can use to land, right? So there's on the right end there's, I would say, a part where you can land, and also here, as you can see. So let's go right, because we're gonna visit the city center once. It's over there, right? So we're gonna approach it from this angle and then have a look. Another Navy vessel, or at least two. One aircraft carrier at least, two as it looks like. So a lot of marine things here, that makes sense, right, because there's also, let's say, the marine base or the airport, which is used by defense services, including again some trees on the ship. There are now some more ships, right, so they're popping up as we speak. So here's some ships. I'm not sure if that's realistic that there are so many naval ships in the city, or laying pretty close to the city. If you know it, then let me know. So I'm going to decrease power a bit. And then have a look at the buildings, right? So here we can see several buildings, really high buildings, which they paid most attention to, as you can see. They're looking, say, nicely detailed. At least you can see what's on the roofs, and I would say the outside of the buildings is nicely, including some of the logos of some companies. So that's cool. The altitude, of course, here we can also see. So, and here you can see different, right? So you can clearly see that these are based on big maps and not handcrafted, because if it was handcrafted they will add some more detail. Although I'm pretty impressed by say the level of detail which Bing Maps already brings to this city. So here ends this Flight Simulator update movie. In this movie we looked at San Diego, and this time we looked at the city center itself, including the harbors where a lot of Navy ships are located. I hope you liked it. If you liked it, then consider to use the like button. If you've got questions or comments, then feel free to post them in the comment box below. And if you want to stay up to date about new videos I'm posting, then make sure that you're subscribing to my channel. Thanks for watching and see you next time.